Hey, welcome to BSB TV. Today, I've got a really exciting show. We're going to talk websites. That doesn't sound all really exciting because it can get really technical and boring. But today, I've got Darren Uttridge to help me unmask how to keep your website safe. Darren, how are you going?
Yeah, well, thanks, Kevin. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, your company is called?
DU Designs.
Not Dude Signs. But if you want to find Darren, you can find him at dudesigns.com.au
Yes.
or dudesigns.com.au, whichever you like. So, mate, tell me, WordPress website's the most common website in the world, yeah?
Yes, it is.
And there's only about 6 billion plugins for them.
Oh, yes. There's you can get a plugin for just about anything.
Absolutely. And because it is a website that's, largely followed by small business owners because they are so easy to manage and they're so easy to keep updating and that sort of stuff. They're also a website that's a favorite for people to target, to hack and put stuff behind it. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's quite common to get people's websites attacked by hackers or even robots. Yeah.
I hate it when the robots come in. I just have, robot from, Lost in Space going, danger, Will Robinson, danger at this stage. But anyway, we'll avoid all of that. We'll get straight onto it. So you've got 5 tips to make sure that you can keep your website safe.
Yes.
That you're about to share right now. What's your first one?
First one is keep the version of your website or WordPress up to date. When they come out with new releases, they generally have fixes for bugs, or there could be enhancements to protect you from security hacks. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of things, and whether it's your iPhone, people go, I don't want to install that latest update because it might have bugs in it, but hey, it probably has a security, a safety thing in there to stop people attacking you. So you should be updating these things as fast as possible, yeah?
That's right, definitely.
Cool. Do they come out regularly and systematically? I know Microsoft used to be famous for, putting everything up on a Tuesday or a Tuesday night. Is there a regular schedule or it just happens as they find a bug?
It happens as they manage to update fixes and bugs and so forth, bug fixes. Maybe once every couple of months.
Cool. And generally you'll get a message when you go to log into your site saying, hey, there's been a fix, there's been an update for this and that sort of stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So what's point number 2?
Point number 2, update your themes and plugins regularly. So
when you talk about themes, that's the style of your site, yeah? How it looks basically. Quite often that would be built on a theme that's been created by someone.
That's right.
Cool. And with that, they're actually going to be updating that so that it interacts with the web better, yeah?
Yeah.
So once again, another really cool reason to be updating that. So you should be doing that regularly. By regularly, what do you mean? Regularly is a funny term, regularly.
Well, you need to go in and check it regularly because sometimes if they find a vulnerability in the plugin if they find a vulnerability in the plugin, then they'll give you an update and it'll actually show you in your plugins listing that it's ready to be updated. So generally you'd look at the version number, depends on how out of date it is. But you just click on update now and away you go.
And just for mere novices like myself, and I know we've had a bit of a chat about this before we've come on, but a plugin is all those different things that actually make your website work at the end of the day. So you might have a WooCommerce plugin so that you can sell stuff on site. You might have your calendar apps and that sort of stuff at different stage plugged into your site and all that sort of stuff. So, you've got your plugins and widgets and things like this, and I really don't know what I'm talking about. But you need those things. If they're out of date, it will mean that one, it may not work, and that's going to affect both your searchability and SEO, because Google are going to say this is a bad experience, as well as vulnerability and security as well. Hey,
That's right.
I knew enough to sound almost like I knew what I was talking about there. What's the third thing?
Back up your website regularly. So for static sites, where the information doesn't change very much, you might back it up maybe once a week, maybe once a month. But if you have an online store, for instance, and your data changes regularly, you're storing information of people's data, you need to probably back up once a day.
Cool. So it really depends on how much stuff is changing on your site, though. Hey, so if I've got a fairly static site, and I sell a couple of coaching programs, but nothing much really changes, just as we're doing those security updates and that sort of stuff, we should be backing it up just before we do it, and then just again after. So then it'll probably be okay till the next security update. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you get attacked, at least you've got something to go back to, so that you can restore your site.
Yeah, it's not like somebody lost the pricing module of their site. Yes. Today. We managed to fix that already, which is fantastic. Thank you for your help on that. So what's the fourth thing we've got to do?
Limit login attempts and change the password often. So when somebody tries to hack into your website, if you don't have a limited amount of login attempts, in fact, I think WordPress actually have that built into the system now, but there are plugins that you can get, like Login Lockdown or WP Limit Login Attempts, that allow you to limit the amount of time somebody can attempt to log into your website before it locks them out.
Cool. So if you've got a site that is prone to people trying to hack it because you've got a really cool name or something like that, then it is important that you limit the number of attempted login attempts, because then your bots and that sort of stuff, they're just going to give up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'll lock them out. So like a bot will try, hundreds of times, and it'll just keep going until it actually tries to, it may actually break in depending on the strength of your password. But if you limit the login attempts, it might have 3 goes and that's it, and it's locked out.
Yeah, and that's why it's really important to have strong passwords as well, which that's a bonus little point that we're throwing in there. So one, we've said, keep the version of WordPress up to date. 2, make sure your themes and also the plugins that you use, they're all current and up to date, because all of these things have been updated primarily for security reasons and how they interact with the greater world to make it easier and better for your service. 2, back your site up regularly, and regularly will depend on how often you're changing it. 4 will be limit the number of login attempts. Now, I really like your point number 5. It's a really cool little point. What is it?
Okay, so the 5th point is to rename your login URL. So by default, you'll have your domain name .com/wp-admin as the login URL. If you can rename that to something that's unique to you, that you remember, then it just makes it much harder for somebody to break in.
Absolutely. So if you make it something that's a little bit more personal and everything else, then they're not going to find that in a normal scan search. And they do. So, you might have business-smallbusiness.com.au/I love my dogs, and that will take me to my password, admin password stuff. Only the people who've watched this are ever going to know that.
You can use plugins like there's a plugin called Defender Pro, another one called iTheme Security, that have these features included in them, so that you can cloak your URL, your login URL. So it just makes it that much harder for them to break in.
Absolutely. And there's also different password remembering software as well, isn't there?
I beg pardon?
There's also software and apps that remember all your passwords for you and stuff.
Oh, yes, yes. You can use a product like LastPass. So it's really good for storing all your passwords, and all you need to do is remember your master password, which you keep very private, and yeah, keeps everything secure.
Absolutely. So Darren from DU Designs, look, we've absolutely failed at doing our 5 in 5, but we have done it in 10, which is absolutely fantastic. Clearly I talked too much and got in the way. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Kev.